What is going on, folks? Welcome to the big dudes in the trenches.
It's
And
my favorite time of year.
it's mock draft time.
Yes.
This is the third live mock draft that we are going to be doing. Um, kind of like I don't know if I should say we're going to do four, or if I should just say, I mean, there will be three of them in total, technically. Uh, it's kind of weird. It's complicated enough that we're going to need to talk about it a little bit in detail before we get started here.
I'm
Also,
okay with this.
if you hadn't noticed, which I would be surprised at this point, Bug's not here just yet. He
He's on his
will
way.
be here though, eventually. Maybe he'll think about it. Which personally, I appreciate the thought.
We kind of need him though. So
Yeah,
if he's listening, I would appreciate that he decides to join us.
that would be ideal. But why do we need him? That's a fair question. Before we actually get there, though, we just found this out today. We know who's attending the draft. Now, it's only 17 players. This seems interesting to me enough that I wanted to stop a mock draft show and talk about this a little bit. I know you called us out in the Discord, which people can join for more discussion on things like this, but it seems like fewer and fewer players are getting invited recently. Uh, doesn't seem like it was that long ago. We had a full green room of like 30 dudes. So
You
this
had
is
more than that because you had guys that were slipping and the people they were picking were still in the green room. Part of me wonders because I haven't seen a good draft in terms of that, a good attended draft since they left Rocket City. Since they left the music hall, I wonder if that has something to do with it.
maybe. I mean, gosh, I don't know what kind of green room you're going to have set up in Kansas City. So maybe
That's
maybe it's too
yeah, no,
small.
exactly.
uh, anyway, we got the draft coming up in 2 weeks. We are very excited. In the meantime, we have an entire mock draft to work through. This is 3.0. There will be a part 2 to this mock draft. But before we get to that rule, let's talk about the rest of it. Same as before, we will do a coin flip to determine which of us, Doug/Tug, gets to pick, whether they want to go first or second. We'll do that at the beginning of each round of this mock draft. We're not just doing a single round this time. So we'll keep flipping and mixing it up.
I like it. I like it because now I can't pick somebody going, hey, if I think he's a good fit in this position, but I think he's going to fall to me at the next pick, I might not have him.
Right. Number 2, biggest reason we need Tug. He's
I'm here. I'm here.
yeah, biggest reason we need Bug. He's our Tug keeper. Uh, so
Yeah,
we're
if
only
Bug's
gonna
not here, I tend to just leave.
uh, we are limiting ourselves to approximately 5 minutes per pick in the first round here. The next episode of this mock draft, we will have about 3 minutes per pick. Try to shorten things up a little bit. I assume we won't have as much analysis as we get deep in round 3, I'm sure. But there we said it. It's going to be the 3-round mock draft in total. I kind of want to jump ahead to rule number 5 here because this will be the first round only. Next
Here.
week will be
Unless
rounds 2 and 3
I was going
in
to go ahead.
as a continuation. It'll be as if round 1 just happened. Rounds 2 and 3 exactly based off of what happened in this round 1 today.
Yep. Now, what I was going to say is, isn't there a chance, based on how efficiently you and I draft, if we're not taking the full 5 minutes, is there a chance that we go to round 2 today? I know we had spitballed it. Screw it. Let's decide it on air right now. Is there any chance we go to round 2 today? If say we get through round 1 in say under an hour and a half.
first of all, I kind of don't think that will happen. And second of all, I'm not willing to go 2.5 hours tonight. I do have to work in the morning.
That's
Uh,
fair.
but next week we'll speed it up a little bit, and rounds 2 and 3 together next week. Now we have a couple more rules. In the first 2 mock drafts we did live on air, trades were not allowed. No longer the case. Trades are a reality of the league. They need to be included in any semblance of realism, or in any kind of craziness that we feel like getting up to. But trades are definitely allowed, are actually kind of encouraged. Um, they can be initiated by any of the 3 of us. Doug, Tug, or Bug here can initiate a trade any way they want to. Now, we don't have to accept, or we don't have to even agree to actually start negotiating. But any one of us can offer a trade at any time. Now, think of it this way. If I win the coin toss and I decide I want odds, I get number 1, 3, 5, 7. I can make an offer to trade up from number 7 to number 1 if I wanted to. However, I don't get to negotiate with myself because we want to at least try to make it a little bit fair and reasonable trades. 100% of the time, there will be a third party involved in this. Bug will be the adversarial negotiator
I
and
love
try
it.
to make sure we keep things a little bit fair here.
Where
Uh,
this gets fun is if you try to trade up to one of my picks, that takes me out of the
right?
argument for completing that trade. However, I then make that pick that you just traded up for.
Yes. To reiterate that same kind of example, I have the odds here. Tug's picking at number 2. I try to trade up from 7. Uh, I don't get to pick at number 2 just because that used to be one of my teams. That's still Tug's pick now. I negotiated with Bug to move up to number 2, and now Tug still makes that pick at number 2. So this is going to be pretty wild. It's going to keep us all on our toes, and it's going to make for some interesting decisions, I'm sure.
No, absolutely. It's gonna be a fun time. That alone, that right there is what's gonna make this fun. Because you could be planning to trade up to say 4, thinking, hey, I'm gonna take a defensive end here, Will Anderson still on the board, and I just go ahead and off the rails go pick somebody else that you weren't even expecting. Um, maybe a waste of a trade up. We don't know.
I will say though, if any of the 3 of us like completely object to a trade happening, say no, this is completely unrealistic. There's 0% chance of this happening. Why in the world would X move down at all? There's a
Yep.
player that fits perfectly here. We can stop it from happening too. We're not going to go that far off the rails.
Yeah, we're not just gonna. This is not MLB The Show 23 with forced trades on. You cannot just trade whenever you want.
I mean, technically, we will have forced trades on because we control every team in the
Yeah, but
mock
we
draft
will.
simulator.
But we will also have Commissioner Void authorities.
And that's another good point that I didn't read off of rule number 2. If we run out of time, the whole point of having a time limit here is to keep us honest. If we run out of time, we will be forced to select whoever our mock draft simulator of choice tells us we're supposed to be taking. For the purposes of this mock draft and the other mock drafts we've done live so far this year, we will be using Pro Football Focus. They have kind of the cleanest, simplest layout for streaming purposes. So congratulations to PFF for being the most basic and palatable. Uh, that's 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 the
Can
way
can I
it works.
reiterate? Hold on. Can I reiterate why it's actually a punishment if you have to take who PFF recommends?
Feel free.
Their their ranking system is so bad. Uh, I don't know why.
Your
I
team
just
needs are wrong,
their team
and
needs are wrong. Every team in the league needs a wide receiver.
oh yeah, Well, of
Like
course.
a wide receiver and a DB are the two biggest team needs in the NFL this year, according to PFF. Um, I
Well, honestly, if you think about it, every team needs at least like 4 of those guys, so it kind of makes sense.
but here's the thing. It is the easiest to read on a screen. It is the in terms of a stream. It's the easiest to stream with. If
Yeah,
you're looking to run your own mock drafts, I'm not going to tell you to go to the Draft Network, but I'm going to tell you that's what I personally use.
I'll tell you straight up. I pay for the Draft Network. It's awesome. TDN is incredible, and I highly
And
recommend all of their analysis. Actually, they do
yep,
some really good scouting work too. Huge shout out to the Draft Network. Not a sponsored bit, by the way. I legitimately pay for that service and love it.
yep, 100%. Same, I do too. And I believe that this is where I wish we were sponsored, because I do believe they just released their completely revamped mock draft simulator, and honestly, it
Yes,
is much better than it was last year.
it's pretty good for personal use. It doesn't look.
There's a lot of information on it.
There's a lot going on, and yeah, I didn't want to have to deal with it as far as streaming purposes go.
It's valid.
But for personal use, it is the best one on the market. So I feel like I'm kind of stalling a bit right now, waiting for Bug to get in here.
Yeah.
At the same time, we could just go ahead and get started without him and say fuck it, and we'll bring him in whenever he decides to show up.
I mean,
At the very least, let's go ahead and flip the coin.
yes.
So you called it last time.
Yep.
I'm going to
Your
let you
turn.
call it again this time.
No, you call it. You call it.
No, it's you. It's your call. I'm the home team. I'm the one who pulled up the screen. I could have rigged this somehow. You don't know.
You know what? I have a
didn't,
solution. Ben, who has heads? Who has tails?
Ooh,
Heads.
Doug has heads.
Okay.
Is that what I heard?
Yes.
Okay.
I wish I was getting heads.
Don't
It is tails. Tug wins, and Tug gets the choice yet again. Second straight mock draft of getting the choice. Do
Tails
you want
never
the number
fails,
one
man.
overall pick? Or
you know
do you
what,
want
man?
to pick number 2?
I want to change it up this week because I want to get a different mock draft out there. So I'm actually going to turn around and I'm going to take evens today.
Okay. All right. So Bug already knows the rules. Obviously, we don't just only talk during live streaming.
Wait.
Seen the rules before?
You guys
We are
have talked
friends.
to me about this before? We're friends?
Yeah.
I sure hope so. We see each other enough. Anyway.
True.
I almost said something. I'm not going to put it in my private chat.
And you can join that private chat if you hop on the Discord, which Tug will read you the link later. But anyway, yes, roughly 5 minutes per pick. Obviously, already started because I'm stalling and dragging this out because I have the number 1 pick and it feels good. I like making people wait for it, just like the NFL does. The first round is unreasonably long. Bug hates it. We're going to be live streaming it though because it's worth it every year.
God, somebody will wish us luck next week, or not next week, the week after.
Yeah, you get tired after like 5 minutes of the show. 5-hour show is gonna be brutal for you.
As long as
you gotta
nobody's
work on that stamina, boy.
We're good.
Hey, that made it great. That added to the quality of the stream last year. Anyway, I have the Panthers here. We all know it's going to be a quarterback. The conversation is all around whether it's going to be CJ Stroud or Bryce Young. I kind of assumed for a while there it was going to be CJ Stroud. Seems like Vegas also assumed that based on all the conversations around that. At this point, from the conversations, more so sounds like the Panthers were considering CJ Stroud may be available to them at number 9 or some wild shit. Like, I have no idea what's happening to the top of this quarterback class, other than the fact that Bryce Young is the best playmaking option out there. And probably should be the number 1 overall pick. Yes, CJ Stroud is a better pure passer, and I will defend that stance forever, even if Bryce Young works and CJ Stroud doesn't in the league.
Yeah.
But Bryce Young is a complete difference maker, which the Panthers really do need. They haven't had that in, I don't know, since prime Cam Newton. Not saying that Bryce Young is that, but
2015 Cam Newton.
Before you get started here, Tug, though, I do want to say I kind of want to propose a trade here.
All right.
If you're interested.
I mean, so based on what I'm hearing in the news, the Texans are also heart set on Bryce Young, and if he's not there, they will look to trade this pick away. They have many more needs right now.
Yep, I was going to say the same thing.
Than just quarterback. So, yes, go ahead and make your offer. And Bug, just to reiterate, you are negotiating on behalf of the Texans at this time.
Yeah. I kind of want to offer with the Tennessee Titans out of number 11 here. If we were to look at that option, I don't know if that's like a thing that PFF thinks should happen, but I'm going to make a scenario here for us. I want that number 2 pick to get my quarterback of the future. I don't believe in Malik Willis. I'm willing to offer, obviously, number 11 this year, kind of a no-brainer. It's a quarterback. I got to give up my first rounder next year. I will give you a second rounder in 2025. And a third in 2024.
It's getting a little far out. I would be looking more like a you won't get a quarterback anyway because nobody really believes in Ryan Tannehill. I don't even believe in Ryan Tannehill, but he's a hell of a lot better than we got, and he's a hell of a lot more of a bridge guy that I want if I think I can get my team back into a good position between this draft and then potentially next draft. Ryan Tannehill is also not going to take this team and turn them into world beaters, but he's going to make it a lot better. So instead of a second and a third, how about 2 firsts on Tannehill, and you go get your rookie quarterbacks you want this year?
I am 100% in on that. You can have Ryan Tannehill on the Houston Texans. 100% down for that. And we're going to force the trade because I think I would like it. But
I do think legitimately, though, that getting a bridge quarterback like a Ryan Tannehill, because if it works out, awesome, because then they're in an even better position when next year they draft likely Drake May if he continues his trajectory right now, or who's the other big junior this past season? Caleb Williams. That's right, Heisman winner, right?
Yeah.
If Ryan Tannehill is serviceable enough and you don't think you're going to be super competitive even adding either one of those 2 guys next year, then you have a good veteran quarterback who knows this shit that Williams or Drake May can sit behind. I think it's a great position for Houston to put themselves in, frankly.
I am kind of surprised you agreed to do this, by the way, because we are in the same division, and I know that'll get called out. If the Texans really want to allow the Titans to potentially get their franchise quarterback of the next 15 years, I am down with that if I'm the Titans.
See, but that's the other thing I'm looking at, too. The Titans have gotten rid of all their wide receiver depth, so their passing game is really starting from scratch. Derrick Henry, he's been their offense. He's maybe got 2 years left, I think.
Right.
I mean, he's a big body, so he's more durable than the average NFL quarterback, but this ain't it. And I think the division as a whole will just get better. You know, high tide rises all boats, right?
Yep.
And if Ryan Tannehill's off the books, that certainly speeds up the rebuild, even though I am giving up a first rounder next year. So we're going to force that trade. And now it goes back to Tug with the Tennessee Titans.
Yep. So before I make my pick, the only thing I will say is if I was negotiating with that, Ben, I love adding in Tannehill. I was thinking about that myself. The only thing I would have asked for is including a second this year, and that is 100% based off of what the Bears traded. It was almost identical what Doug offered you, just not this year's second.
And I
he
would
threw
have
in a
given that
third
to you
instead.
too, but you didn't
Yeah.
ask for it.
That's
You
the only difference I
mixed
would
up
have
my
made.
brain with all the years. I need to be like writing this shit down.
Well, the
It was on the
Bears
screen.
did get a 23 first rounder, obviously a 24 first rounder, a 25 second rounder or something.
And a 20. They got a 23 second and DJ Moore on top of
I
that.
think the problem is too the Texans don't have a ton of bargaining power because everybody knows if Bryce Young's off the board, they want to
That's
trade
true.
back anyway.
That's true, but
I mean, if they
everybody
don't get
also
the
knows you're
offer,
trading up for a quarterback, right?
Yeah.
At least
Right.
in theory. We'll see what Tug does here.
yeah, in theory, we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna take CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
And I just got to say too, having Stroud and then Malik Willis on that roster, there's two guys that play a very similar style. That's only going to help your team out significantly in the long run because you have a backup that can come in and do the exact same thing. You don't have to change the offense any.
Well, you would have a CJ Stroud who you would want to develop into more of a Malik Willis type because he is certainly capable of that, just hasn't done that enough. And he did it against Georgia, and it was fucking amazing. So, but now I had 3 with the Arizona Cardinals. I am willing to listen to offers if anyone wants to trade up for something here. I also have something in mind, so it would have to be a pretty decent offer.
I know exactly where they should go, but I'm not drafting.
Yes, you are not.
I don't see a team that's going to jump with CJ Stroud off the board. I don't see a team that's going to jump to 3. So I'm gonna hold off on this right now.
Okay. A couple of things important to clarify before I make this pick because I think it's going to surprise a whole lot of people. First of all, that tells you right there it's not Will Anderson Jr. He has a couple of issues that people aren't talking enough about simply because he has like 35 sacks in the last 2 seasons in the SEC, which is incredible. However, you cannot draft based off of collegiate production. It never translates 1-to-1. It is impossible to make it translate 1-to-1. The talent level around him will be different. The talent level he's going against will be different. The scheme will be different. The things you look for are the measurables, the intangibles. Will Anderson Jr. has a tendency to draw penalties, and he is small for the position. He is awesome, and he will be a high draft pick. I'm not taking him at number 3. I'm also not taking Jalen Carter. He is the best player in this class. I am also as terrified of drafting him at any position anywhere because there is some off the field shit I am concerned about. That leaves 2 options in my mind, and I'll tell you who I'm not going with here is Tyree Wilson. He has all of the traits you're looking for without as much production as Will Anderson Jr. Also a different position. Will Anderson is more of an outside linebacker. Tyree Wilson is definitely that defensive end type edge rusher. I'm going to go with a corner here, which the Cardinals haven't had a good corner since Patrick Peterson. And wouldn't it be awesome to get a legitimate, solid starting cornerback out in Arizona who could actually shut down some teams out in the NFC West? I'm going to take Devin Witherspoon at number 3 overall.
Wow. Yeah, that's what I have to add there.
And now the Colts can take a quarterback if they want to.
They can. The issue is, what you got? What you got? This is for your analysis too.
Doesn't that make Devin Witherspoon the highest drafted defensive back in the history of the NFL?
No.
Really?
No, Jeff Okudah was number 3 overall, wasn't he? I mean,
Actually, I think you're right. He might have been number 2, actually.
Fucking last year, we had LSU to the Texans at like 2 or 3. What's his
LSU to
name?
LSU to the Texans.
Yeah, cornerback at LSU.
Yeah, I know who
forget
you're
his name.
talking about. He didn't play in 21. Derek Stingley Jr.
Yes.
Holy crap! I remember the name and Doug didn't.
He would not be the highest defensive back taken ever. He might be the highest player out of Illinois ever. But
Doug, can you filter me to the quarterbacks?
Sure. Oh, you want Tanner McKee up here?
No. Give me a sec here. Look, maybe this is me. I don't think that either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson are the right fit for the Colts right now. But what I do think is,
I don't know, man. That Jalen Hurts offense coming over would be really fun with Anthony Richardson. I'm sorry. I'm adding too much personality to my analysis.
I almost want to say I'd be willing to trade back into the late 10s to the middle of the first if anybody's got an offer here.
Sure. I'm interested in moving up with the Raiders.
Okay. Yeah, no, that fits in with kind of what I was thinking. Trade?
Oh wow, it's already on the Raiders. I would give you obviously number 7, of course. A first rounder next year. I don't really have a player to give you. But I don't trust Jimmy Garoppolo to stay healthy for me. Even though I signed him to a 3-year deal.
You're gonna swap me. You're gonna swap me and give me a first next year. I'm gonna take that all day.
Okay.
2 picks. Absolutely. Done deal.
All right. Fair enough.
So the reason I was willing to trade back there is I'm looking at the Colts offense. I think what they do need a quarterback. Don't get me wrong. I'm looking to get one that's a little bit more in my range. I don't want to overdraft. Granted, they might be willing to overdraft a quarterback here. And I think what you were thinking, what you tried to convey with me is the Raiders are going to go Will Levis here at 4. And I get that. But I'm looking to get more in the range of an offensive tackle that they also desperately need, specifically on the right side. So I'm not going to draft a right tackle at number 4 overall. It doesn't make sense. But I'm trying to back up to get in that range. But yeah, I think actually, you know what? Yes. Yeah, 100%. The Raiders have no problem with off-the-field issues. They never have.
There's a great culture fit at the top of this board.
Yeah, there is. Yeah, we're going to take Jalen Carter over to the Raiders.
I respect it.
And the Seahawks are officially on the clock.
Yes.
Wow. That was your reasoning. That's whew. All right.
Look, I was more focused on where I wanted to get the Colts. And then, no, that looks like a move the Raiders would make. We're going to send 2 firsts and get Jalen Carter. Like,
and then
I would hope the Raiders would be a little weary of driving issues.
Oh no.
Off the field driving issues, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, the fans making decisions.
Any team is going to be salivating if he drops whoever, like whether Indianapolis trades back or not. Getting Jalen Carter at 4 later is incredible value.
Yep.
The Seahawks here. I have options.
Yes.
I truly do have all but 4 options on the board. This is a conundrum for me. If anyone wants to step in and offer some shit.
I don't know.
I got nothing for you.
Yeah.
There's a couple guys there I would really like if I were the Seahawks. You actually just passed one of them, and the other one's right at the top. They have a massive needed edge.
I know, and I was trying not to, but I'm going to go Tyree Wilson.
There you go.
The same kind of thing. So the Seahawks are very, very big on size. Now, that was a great way to say that. But Will Anderson Jr. is a little bit short and light for the edge position. Tyree Wilson is not. He is also a freakishly long individual. Like, arm length is insane. The Seahawks love drafting that kind of guy.
Yep.
He fits, and he might legitimately be the best edge rushing prospect in this class, even though Will Anderson Jr. has the production. I know it sounds crazy. Collegiate production does not translate.
Yep. Now, with the Lions, I'm thinking the exact opposite. Not because I have the option between the two, but because you took one and I'm going to take the other. That's how the Lions are going to go here. And also, Will Anderson really does fit the culture that they're building up there in Detroit with PC principal Dan Campbell as the coach. Yeah, I think this makes a lot of sense. They need that edge rusher opposite side. So here's the other thing with this. They just drafted Aiden Hutchinson last year. He's on the right side of the offense, right? So he's on the strong side of the defense. You're putting Will Anderson, another young, speedy dude, on the opposite side. Have fun with that. I think Will Anderson makes a lot of sense here right now because he doesn't need to be the biggest, baddest guy out there.
Yeah, it's kind of terrifying, actually. Like,
Yeah.
I would be scared to play the Lions. Good luck, Bears. Anyway, Colts are back on the clock.
Glad I don't have to make this decision.
I disagree with you entirely. I fully expect them to take a quarterback. What do they have? Shane Buechele? I mean, come on.
You're not wrong.
Give me Anthony Richardson. I can't believe I got to trade down and still get my pick at quarterback there. That's crazy.
The Atlanta Falcons are kicking themselves because the top corner and the top edge are off the board, but they still have the number 2 corner. I really like this here. Doug, go ahead and give me Christian Gonzalez, a massive need for them, that starting corner that we're talking about. Key fit for him.
And with the Bears here, I'm going to go Will Levis. No.
Ben might have just left the show midstream. Just like, nope, I'm done.
I actually think Bears have talked about it. It's been reported by insiders they're looking to trade back, assuming Jalen Carter isn't there. They think he's the only player that they want to take at the number 9 spot. And he very realistically, come on draft day, be available for them.
Oh my God, I didn't realize we gave the Texans back-to-back picks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
I'm looking down at number 19.
Yeah.
I see a team with a need.
Going to the same thing.
And
I'm with you.
I see a third-year quarterback that they clearly don't have any faith in. And I see Baker Mayfield, who's kind of on his last chance. I also see Will Levis still available, and if you want to take that flyer at number 9, Hendon Hooker. But I think the Bears, it's been rumored that they're in talks with 2 teams, and I could very easily see that being Tampa Bay.
There's been a lot of
I think
smoke
the Bears
around
would be picking
Tampa
up
Bay
the
and
phone.
Will
Here.
Levis.
Yeah, I think the Bears would pick up the phone here and say, hey, you can get your quarterback, but we need your first and second this year.
So since you initiated it as the Bears it comes to me, it's an odd team at 19. So I am the Buccaneers here. I'm gonna definitely want that number 9 pick, first of all. I can give you a 1 this year. I can give you my 3 this year, and I can give you a 3 next year to start us off. Watch you just hang up right now. It's like, nah. Yeah, I know that's not
Yeah,
good enough.
I know.
I'll give you a 2
I know
next
it's
year instead.
against the rumors.
A 1,
I
a
could
3
see them
this year,
doing
and
a
a 2 next year.
I could see them going that route. I could see that. It sounds like they're looking for more of a 2 this year, but already starting to build up next year's second round as well. I will say though, we're looking at kind of traditional models here. We've talked about it several times on this show. With COVID, the second round this year is still incredibly deep, and next year might be where we see it start to taper off.
That's true.
I would take that. Would Chicago actually take that? I'm not sure, but since I'm not part of the Bears organization, I'm going to take it here.
All right. Force the trade. Tampa Bay Buccaneers just moved all the way up 10 spots from 19 to 9. And the Bears potentially got better next year in the process. That's interesting. So at number 9, we're going to do some fun shit because I actually don't think Will Levis goes in the top 10. And I don't think Hendon Hooker goes in the top 20. Just where I'm at personally.
I don't think Hendon Hooker should go in the top 20.
I do see a very real possibility Hendon Hooker is a first-round pick. I don't even like that. But, yeah, I'm not going Will Levis here. There is a good possibility that the Buccaneers go offensive tackle at 9 if they were to trade up here. They only have 1 tackle. The problem with doing that right now for me is I was able to keep number 50. Me personally,
1 minute.
it might come down the board and Tug doesn't like whoever's left at tackle at number 50. But I personally like some of those guys who are probably going to be available in that range at the tackle position. So I'm going to go off the deep end here. I'm going to do it. They traded up for Bijan.
Oh, no. You just threw
and
my
I
entire...
will say, Tug threw in here. Try and get Devin White. And the thought crossed my mind because I know he's on the outs with the Buccaneers management right now as far as getting his new contract done. And Tug, I'm doing this so you can collect yourself and get ready for your next pick.
Yeah.
But look at what the Bears did in free agency between TJ Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. Do they really need to add another inside linebacker in Devin White?
Right. That's true. That's true. And you're not getting any younger by getting him at this point, right? You're still going to need a draft inside linebacker to really solidify the position for the long term. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right trade for him. I don't know if he'd want to go there anyway.
I was just thinking of a way to kind of save.
Again, linebackers, I think, do want to go to Chicago, though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true. Purely for the history of it, but you're not going to win this year.
Doug, I feel like you played me.
I think I did.
Because here's the deal. You know how much I like Bijan here, and I've told you plenty of times I have him at 10 with the Eagles.
Yeah.
And it makes sense there because I also normally go offensive tackle with the Bears. But before I make my final decision, I think I know where I'm going. Can you show me defensive interior?
Sure. That is possible.
Cool. Yeah, I'm not going here. I just want to make sure that those guys were going to be there later. Where I am going to go,
We'll see.
yeah, they might be. But what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead in this. I'm going to go Miles Murphy to the Eagles. Edge out
Okay.
of Clemson.
All right. Quite a bit higher than most people have him anymore. Interesting. I don't hate it. Definitely understand the position.
He is the
But-
third edge off my board on my third edge on my board, which is why I'm going there.
Okay. He would not be the third edge on my board personally anymore.
Why would you
love Nolan
draft
Smith.
running back to the Eagles?
That's like their only need. They
have
you're
5
trying
on
to
the
tell us-
roster.
Who's good though?
You're at number 10. You're coming off a Super Bowl appearance, and you get the chance at a potentially generational running back. Yeah, I'm taking a shot on a running back that is a legit top 10 talent.
I also love that I tried to say this was going to be somewhat realistic, and then we just did all this shit.
All right, let's. We said the trades were going to make it fun.
Yes, we did. If nothing else, fun will be had. All right, the Houston Texans just got Ryan Tannehill in a trade with the Titans. Also got some extra picks. Going defense with this purely because of that. I don't even know if they're going to draft receiver at all. Like, they might just load up on the defensive side of the ball and just roll the dice next year. It would be my plan for this. We'll see what you do next pick, Tug. I am going with Lucas Van Ness at number 11.
I like it. All right. Look, I know we just said
It'd be nice to see them have a decent edge rusher again.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. But I'm sitting here and I'm kind of shocked. Because the Titans traded out of 2 because they want Bryce Young. Or not the Titans. The Texans traded out of 2 because they want Bryce Young. He's not there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're here, and all of a sudden they still have Will Levis on the board. Do they go there? I don't know. I do like them at 12, and I want to give them a tackle here, but they really need a right tackle, not a left tackle. And that is a big scheme difference.
I don't know if they need tackle at all. Interior offensive line, yes.
They're thin at that position as well.
No.
Unless one of their centers can move over to right guard.
But this is also about the right time in the draft that you start seeing this happening. Go ahead and give me Quentin Johnston. This is actually right around where I normally pick him anyway, but give me Quentin Johnston to the Texans this time.
All right. Easiest pick of my life. Peter Skoronski to the Jets. They're ecstatic. They're not going to wait any possible moment for anyone to suggest a trade. They are jumping all over that shit.
No, 100%.
ESPN will wait 9 minutes. The Jets won't.
Yeah. Right.
The pick will be in.
And we'll just have to sit there.
All right. All right.
Just holding our ankles.
Ooh,
just
the Patriots going Will Levis. That's for sure.
You're an agent of chaos right now.
Actually, where I do think the Patriots go here, I like this fit. It's a need for the Patriots. He's a versatile.
I'm going to call you real quick.
I'll listen.
As the Minnesota Vikings and see if you're interested.
I will listen to an offer.
Okay. With the Minnesota Vikings, I want number 14. I'm going to obviously give you number 23. I can give you a second as well.
I see what the Vikings are going to do here. I hope I'm on the same wavelength as you if Ben accepts this or not.
What are you thinking, Bug?
What is it? 14 for 23 and 87.
Mm-hmm. I feel like
We
the
are
sweet
talking
and
about the
hot
mad
level.
scientist himself.
Yep.
Yeah.
I know. Billy Blue
I don't
Balls
think-
loves to trade down.
I don't think we even need to force. I think we could probably offer this trade and it will get taken. I don't think we even need to force it.
I mean, the bar is full green.
Right.
Yeah. I think this is very likely. Minnesota also always loves to move. They're famous for not moving fast enough and losing a pick because they were trying to trade back 1 year. So, yeah, I'm good. I think this is a good trade.
All right. Minnesota Vikings jump up to number 14 here. And it's still Tug's pick. So there you go.
This is
Have fun with that.
This is very interesting here because there's two ways I can go here. Did the Vikings just jump the Packers to get that second outside receiver and take JSN off the board? Or did they go because they're seeing Will Levis at 14 going, Kirk Cousins, Will Levis?
Right.
I know if I'm the Packers, I'm shitting myself right now because that's what I would be actively worried about. But the fit here, you get a gift falling into your lap. You gave up your second round pick. It's a tough one. Yeah, I'd probably go with Will Levis here. That's the only reason you're giving up that much to
Yes, sir.
to jump.
Yes, sir. And the
I originally saw that and went,
in
oh my
sight.
God. All I know is I saw that and went, oh God, he's jumping the Packers for JSN because he knows I like picking him in this range. And I was tempted. I'm not going to lie. That would also be a very Vikings move.
This is all over the place right now. Oh, man. With the Green Bay Packers here at number 15, first thing, I am 1,000% never in my life taking a wide receiver here. Fuck that.
Because why would you?
I
You're
have
the Green Bay
so
Packers.
many more needs on this team that wide receiver is the furthest thing from my mind. I am, as the Green Bay Packers, I am the very old school opinion that receivers don't matter deadly squat. Get me a couple of big dudes in the trenches. Get me a quarterback who can make anybody look good, and I'll figure out the rest. So, as the Green Bay Packers, and the way this board has fallen, that was a combination of board and fall. This ball has fallen. I'm pretty ecstatic to be taking Paris Johnson at number 15 here, which is something that no one has ever talked about, and I think would make actually a lot of sense based on how this roster is looking right now. I don't really know if I trust Bakhtiari to come back and be legitimately great.
I don't either. And looking through their depth here, they have plenty of tackles. I don't trust any of them, though. And Bakhtiari's been on the decline as it is. Either you're going to have an older Aaron Rodgers who's not really 100% in it, or you're going to have Jordan Love, and both of those guys need protection.
And if you do find two tackles you're comfortable with, Paris Johnson has experience playing at guard. He was very good at guard.
Yep.
And you could certainly use some help on that offensive line somewhere. Plug in Paris Johnson at some position on your offensive line, and it will be improved, which I know Aaron Rodgers doesn't really get sacked. He's also fantastic at throwing the ball away. He's great at avoiding some bullshit contact and getting the refs on his side when he takes incidental contact. So it never happens. I don't think you're going to get that kind of love anymore with Jordan Love. Anyway, the Commanders are on the clock. Tug, there are a whole lot of options
Yeah,
for you.
I'm
This is
not picking
crazy.
up the phone here. I'm gonna let it ring, and I'm gonna go Broderick Jones out of Georgia.
Ooh, all right.
Who
I like Broderick Jones a lot.
I will throw this out here too. I don't know how much faith they really have in Sam Howell just because of how much they jump back and forth, even once he kind of got in last season.
I think if Will Levis falls to them, they go Will Levis, no question. But they just got jumped.
I don't know that they would move up for him.
No, exactly. I will let him come to me, but if he doesn't fall there, so be it.
And I think that's probably a good stance for them to take anyway, especially with Eric Bieniemy there. It's not like Sam Howell was awful. Maybe Bieniemy's going to work his magic and turn him into a fantastic quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
My
there
goodness.
He is.
Nice and quiet now. Pittsburgh.
Dude, there's so many options of where you can go with Pittsburgh.
This is kind of the same situation as Washington. I don't think they dislike Kenny Pickett, but I also don't think they're completely sold on him. And
I think it's
not for the same reasons as Sam Howell, but more just what has Kenny Pickett really done to wow them? And their other option is Mitch Trubisky. So they absolutely don't have a backup, but you're not drafting a backup quarterback in the first round, even at 17.
Surprisingly, I did not expect this, obviously, with taking Devin Witherspoon at number 3. The rest of the defensive backs have fallen. Like, I have
unintentionally
3 options here at defensive back, which I probably do consider to be the Steelers' one of their biggest needs at minimum. I don't know if it is their biggest need, but it certainly is one of them.
I would say outside corner is safety, not so much.
I agree. Here's the thing. As much as some people really like Joey Porter Jr., and as much as the fit is very fun, I don't think he is worth this pick at number 17. I'm going to go with the better athlete and probably the better corner overall in Deonte Banks here. I know that will piss off some folks, but Deonte Banks is better. And if I'm the Steelers at 17, I'm surprised that he fell to me.
Yeah.
Which brings the lines back on the clock. So you already took Will Anderson Jr. at number 6 for the vast majority of this draft cycle. A fucking steal and a half for that.
Yep.
You also have plenty of other needs as well. and
I definitely have a chance here. Definitely have a chance here to close one. I'm just looking to see where I want to go with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have 2 options I really like here. Again, I'm thinking build that defense. I like Elijah Cansey. I also like Brian Brzee, who is still on the board as well.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, who do I like more in this situation? That comes down to a scheme fit.
Yes.
The Lions, if I'm not mistaken, run a true 4-3. They run a more classic 4-3 defense, which I think to support that would be Brian Brzee sitting there at defensive tackle for you on the inside.
I agree. He has a better scheme fit. I also really like Brian Brzee.
I know. That's I'm not gonna lie. I kind of pulled up your tier list and was when I was making that decision.
This isn't.
I think
like
he probably slides in pretty good at nose.
Yeah.
A nose tackle position for him.
I don't think this is like a fresh take or anything, but I think it is legitimate. We give a pass to so many guys every single year for random bullshit that just happens. And everyone's like hating on Brian Brzee for this past season, like awful production. Of course, he only played like 3 games. He had a weird kidney disease that's since been fixed, and his sister fucking died. He wasn't going to play well this past season. Go
Yeah, it was.
back a year and watch him be so fucking dominant for Clemson.
Yep.
You're getting a great player. I don't expect his sister to die again. I'm willing to take that chance.
God damn it, Doug. God, dude.
Just being real.
I don't know
It's
if
not
you
gonna
can
happen
say
twice.
that.
You know what?
Holy-
I think you're right. I'm willing to agree with you on that.
What if he has another sister?
Well, she still won't
certainly-
die twice.
I'm certainly praying for her. Anyway,
All right.
the Chicago Bears are finally on the clock. They used to be at number 1, then they were at number 9, another at number 19, adding a couple of picks in the process, and DJ Moore, who is going to be awesome for you. I'm not taking a wide receiver here, even though there are some really great options available at that kind of position. Kalijah Cansey, honestly, does some of the things that you were looking for in Jalen Carter. The problem is he's not as big as Jalen Carter. And so he is unable to physically do those things immediately in the NFL. We will see what Kalijah Cansey turns into. There's definitely a lot of potential there. I also think corner is probably one of the stronger positions on the Bears roster. I'm not going corner here.
I don't get my corners on here.
I'm really not going defensive back at all.
I can tell you.
I'm going to go with my personal draft crush at the moment, who is still available. I'm going with Nolan Smith. Give you a great edge rusher with legitimate top 10, top 5 attributes. He tore his pec, couldn't finish the season at Georgia. Outside of that, so dominant as an edge rusher. He runs sub 4.4. Like, he can line up at outside linebacker or defensive end. He has done both. He is really good at both. You're getting a great defensive player at number 19.
Yep.
About the best you can hope for.
Absolutely. And I don't care what side of the ball it is. I want to see them go offense over defense. I want to see them get somebody on the line. Offense, defense does not matter to me. The only acceptable thing other than that would be wide receiver. But I agree with you. I don't know that they do that right here. And I don't mind rolling with the wide receiver core that they have right now. Their top 3 guys I would take on pretty much any roster in the league and be fine with them being my top 3 guys. The depth is thin. But what I find even more interesting is Tevin Jenkins has been reported that he is switching to guard. And that means Alex Leatherwood looks like he'll be sliding into that starting right tackle spot. Tackle, I think, is still very much a need, but nobody's taken. We've had one offensive lineman taken so far? Maybe they're hedging their bets a little bit.
No, we've had 3.
3.
Skronsky, Johnson, and Jones.
I missed Johnson getting taken.
Yeah. I think with those 3 off the board, I'm not going with my 4th option at offensive line at number 19 when I have a guy I would have considered at number 9. Also, before you make a pick here, Tug, I do want to pick up the phone and see if you're interested.
Before you do that, can you scroll up and show me who we drafted last time for the Hawks?
That is certainly
this is the worst part about this is forgetting what we drafted. All right.
Tyree Wilson.
All right.
If
who
you're
are
interested,
you calling me?
I am
Who's
calling you with the New England Patriots.
Nope. Sorry, I'm doing this based off team needs. The
Okay.
Patriots are going to try and jump up into this place to take who I'm thinking the Seahawks are going to take, just who I would have taken with the Patriots in the first place.
Okay.
Seahawks looking at this, they're building that defensive line. They're a little ecstatic that he fell to them here. It's not exactly who they wanted, but they'll take it. I think they go Kalijah Cansey.
I would have traded up and taken Jackson Smith and Jigba with the Patriots, actually. Like, legitimately, I think that'd be very
Here's your
fun.
next chance.
Yeah, here's the Chargers. They do not go Jackson Smith and Jigba. They hate good things. Jeez. What do I do with the Chargers?
I just saw something to be a very interesting fit and a need.
I'm sure you did. You know what I'm going to do with the Chargers? What do they need more than anything? They need depth in the trenches. They get hurt in the trenches every single year. All of their starters go down with injury by week 5, and they're fucked for the interior of the season. Every single year. The problem is the tackles on the board don't really have interior flexibility. This is a reach for an interior offensive lineman right now.
Ooh. But if it's your man, you go get him.
Well, I'm kind of applying that same philosophy just with a guy that I don't think anyone else would agree should go at number 21 right now.
Cole Strange.
This is my guy.
That was last year.
I know.
Who I really want to beef up my defensive line. I'm going at Atamiwa Adebawore at number 21 overall.
All right.
He can play the edge, will in the Chargers scheme most likely be an interior defensive lineman and be a damn good one at that. He is an awesome athlete. And I mean, look at their defensive line last year. Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack both went down.
Yep.
They had nothing. So let me beef up that defensive front, and I might be able to stay competitive. We kind of all generally agree that the offense isn't the problem right now for the Chargers.
Correct.
Like, you can definitely do things to help that offense, but let's get a defense who can stop someone, please.
Stop the fucking nosebleed, please. Like, do
Right.
something. All right. If I'm the Ravens, and this is probably why you tried to jump me with the Patriots, I'm ecstatic right now because I'm on the make Lamar happy train. And how you make Lamar happy is you get him more weapons. OBJ is older, coming off an injury, should be okay. But outside of him, I have Rashad Bateman. Yeah, let's go ahead and add Jackson Smith and Jigba at 22.
Yeah, it seemed too obvious to me too.
Sure,
Who else are
fair.
you gonna have play the slot? Nelson Aguilar? Come on. He's 107 years old too.
Definitely an option.
Make Lamar happy. That should be the Ravens' entire offseason plan right now.
Make Lamar great again. That's the plan up in Baltimore.
Yeah, Nelson Aguilar's going to be 30 this season. He's old as dirt.
Yeah. Now, the Patriots, there are a couple of really good options here. I am going to go with what I would think is their biggest position of need at the moment, which is offensive line. I am going to give them one of the better pure left tackles in this entire class, Anton Harrison, here at number 23.
I thought this would have been very interesting. I didn't say anything, but Darnell Washington would have been a very interesting fit in Bill Belichick's offensive scheme.
Yeah, and they do like to overdraft tight end a little bit, and they just go do whatever they feel like. They don't give a shit what anyone else cares about these players. So everything's on the table when it comes to the Patriots. We could have scrolled down and found that wide receiver coming out of Hampton. Who is that guy? I forget his name.
God damn it. Here we go.
I gotta find him now. Just think about it while I'm looking. Think of Jadakiss Bonds, number 23 of the Patriots, for sure. Lock
What
it
a
up.
name. What a name.
Jadakiss, wasn't that a rapper back in
Yes.
the 90s, 2000s?
Yeah.
Nice.
Probably named after him.
So if I'm the Jaguars here, I'm thinking, I don't know if I am out of range for a decent offensive tackle, a decent edge. There's always going to be some on the board. I just don't know. I don't want to reach here when there's other needs I have on top. The question is, do I want to block or do I want to catch? And I'm going to go ahead and say they don't want to make that decision. So they're going to do with the best of both worlds. I think they're going to go Michael Mayer here.
They did franchise tag Evan Ingram. That doesn't mean shit. I'm with you. They need a tight end.
And again, I was thinking, hey, do I want Dalton Kincaid or Darnell Washington, or do I want somebody who can do both? And at this point, with where the Jags are at, they want somebody that can do both.
I'm with you.
And I was thinking, too, they might have been in a prime position to try and trade up. But at the same time, I can't pinpoint something that they would want so badly that they would trade up, because I think this team is probably 2 years ahead of where they realistically thought they would be, especially after the whole Urban Meyer debacle.
Correct. They're in a place now where they're probably, I would say, 3 to 5 seasons out from being contenders if they continue to build the right way. There's no reason to rush that window right now.
The Giants,
I have two guys that I really want. So if somebody wants to trade up with me, I'm willing to do so because I have multiple players that I'm willing to take here.
Oh, let's see.
For the record.
The issue is 2 of my picks are actually, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead. I'll trade up with the Bengals here.
Okay. All right. What we offering?
Obviously, I'll offer you number 28. And I would give you, this trade is lopsided. Scroll down. I will also throw in there, yeah, right where you're at, 2024 round 3.
I see the nod of approval from Bug. Yeah, all right. All right,
I think the Giants are in a similar position too. I think they've got to kind of just quote unquote run the ball this season with Daniel Jones again. It seems like he's taking steps in the direction that he is the quarterback of the future for the New York Football Giants.
He's certainly better than he was last year. Let's pump the brakes on being the quarterback of the future.
He's the quarterback of now.
He's the quarterback.
They want him to be. They want him to be. He just might be, and it's going to be very hard for them to trade up into a position to get a solid, sought-after quarterback season. Probably, it's still the Giants. They could completely fuck it up. As good as the NFC East was this year, I fully expect them to have 5 teams or all 4 teams below 500 this year.
So I kind of understand who you were trading up in order for the Bengals to be able to get here, but it is still my pick, and I'm not taking Dalton Kincaid.
That's fair.
Um,
I'll
they
explain why I
do.
was thinking that's a good fit here when it gets
No,
to
I
me at the
I
Cowboys.
agree that it's a good
Yeah.
fit, and actually, I've kind of I've done that before. I've mocked Dalton Kincaid to the Bengals quite a bit. Like that is a good fit, and it is a need.
I will explain
Also,
why I was going with that trade specifically where it was too.
okay, but in this scenario, I'm taking Joey Porter Jr.
Yep.
He
It's
fell to
another great
25.
option.
I'm willing
Yep.
to trade up for that. And honestly,
And I
if
think
you
the Giants
hadn't
might be a
traded up
little
with the
upset.
Bengals, if you hadn't traded up with the Bengals, I would have suggested even trading up with the Steelers out of number 32.
Yep.
Go ahead,
The
Bug.
I'd be a little upset if I'm the Giants too that that's who gets taken, because I was kind of thinking that might have been a good spot or a good guy for the Giants to take here as well.
In my mind, both of the guys I was thinking for the Giants are still on the board. We'll talk about it. But it's your pick, Tug, with the Cowboys.
Yeah, so if I'm the Cowboys here, interior defensive line, we're already breaking into that tier 3. I don't want to reach for it. I'm still ahead of schedule for interior offensive linemen, but I just lost Dalton Schultz.
Mm-hmm.
I had the fear that maybe I just got to jump for Dalton Kincaid. No, and that receiving tight end fits their scheme. So I actually do think Dalton Kincaid to the Cowboys is a good fit here as well.
Okay. Still very happy if I'm the Giants personally.
Yep.
How I see things.
This trade worked out very well.
With the Buffalo Bills, I mean it's right in front of you. You have to. Brian Branch would be a godsend for this team. They need everything in the back seven. The back, however many.
The way they play the back 7.
Sure.
I can put 7 passing offenses now.
Yeah. It depends on how you count the linebackers, I guess. But they need
Especially
a
when
little
you
bit of everything
factor in
back
that
there.
especially when you factor in that you probably just lost one.
Right.
I mean,
Right. And
to be real,
you legitimately
DeMar
don't have
Hamlin's
depth
probably not
even
playing, right?
even if DeMar Hamlin comes back on the field, which he is trying to do. Rooting for him. If he's able to do that, that's incredible. Even if he comes back, you still need depth at basically every position at defensive back. Brian Branch is a guy who can do pretty much everything at defensive back. There is a legitimate argument that Brian Branch is a top 10 player in this entire class. There are 2 issues that will drive his value down in his size, and he is too versatile for his own good, if that makes sense, which normally versatility is a fantastic thing. The problem you're going to run into with a Brian Branch, he is good at corner, he is good at safety, he is great when you give him his own role and let him just do whatever the hell he wants to. I don't know many teams that will be open to that kind of a scheme, but the Bills can certainly work with him and get him up to that level at either safety or corner, wherever they need him. Right now, he would be an awesome nickel corner. Just a kind of let him loose position anyway.
Yep.
So I'm definitely going Brian Branch here. And yeah, the size be damned. He's exactly what the doctor ordered for me.
And if I'm the
Which
Giants,
I would be pissed if I'm the Giants.
you'd be pissed. I mean, I still
yeah.
see something I'm willing to go with in the first round.
Yeah.
If you scroll down and look at that, stop right there. I have Daniel Jones. You're right. I'm limited in what I can do at quarterback in terms of throwing the ball. The least I can do is give him some options.
Yeah.
Now, the issue I run into is, do I go for the option with the production, or do I go, because these two are very much similar size, similar athleticism. Where do I go from here?
Zay Flowers plays a lot faster than Jordan Addison.
And I think that's what they're going to go for. I think they want the speed on that offense. That's kind of what they've been building. Change of pace in the passing game. And what I mean by that is Saquon is a great running back. Saquon's not the fastest running back on the field. So it's different when you can dump a pass off on a slant and it goes 70 yards as a change of pace to a 10-yard run. I think that's possible. I do like Zay Flowers there. But I think the name carries a little more weight, especially when you're playing in a big city like New York, where they're going to love you or hate you on day one. I think Jordan Addison is going to be a pick to keep the fans happy as well, and he's not much slower. So I'm going to go Jordan Addison here at 28. And again, I think in terms of wide receivers, that's a steal for the Giants.
I agree with you. That was my second option outside of Brian Branch as the Giants.
Well, that's why we traded down, right? To let somebody else make the decision for me.
Right. Oh. Gosh, this would be an interesting trade up spot for a couple of different teams. Anyway, as the Saints here at 29, I need a bunch of stuff. with the Saints. I'm getting older practically everywhere. My draft picks at edge really haven't worked out all that well for me recently. The only position I feel truly solid on is center, which fuck PFF, I guess.
Good start.
Like they had a center already, and then they drafted a center to play at guard and just be a backup center sometimes too. Like they're fine at center. Also, Michael Thomas, assuming he plays, and Chris Olave kind of have the same role.
It's a good 1-2 punch.
It kind of feels more like a 1-1 punch. I don't know you're really getting anything different between the guys. So I'm going to go with Zay Flowers here simply because it is a speed deep threat that you don't have. And you just signed Derek Carr to a ton of money. At least get something interesting going on.
Back to the Eagles.
And at number 10, as a reminder,
thank you,
did go Miles Murphy.
That's right.
So got the classic.
Look, I have somebody
defensive lineman off.
I have somebody I really want to take here for him because Fletcher Cox ain't getting younger. And there's a dude on the board that fits that exact mold. The issue is he's got the off the field stuff. This is in the range where he's been going in mock drafts. You can see it here. But do the Eagles want to deal with the off the field stuff? And honestly, I think they do because they have at least one more year of Fletcher Cox, and what you're getting for yourself in terms of future proofing, I think is just undeniable. He's sitting here at 30. I think they go Mozzie Smith.
Mozzie.
You're welcome for mispronouncing it.
From
that
Michigan.
Would be wild. That would be wild to me for them to go 2 defensive linemen in the first round here. I also do kind of understand where you're coming from with that, because they had to pick up 2 defensive tackles mid-season because they're getting older and they need rotational pieces. They drafted Jordan Davis. Everyone else on that roster on that defensive line is like 34 plus. So I kind of get it.
Now, and the question might be like, hey, you were willing to go running back at 10. Why aren't you willing to go running back at 30? That's going to be the question you bring up. Doug, can you show us the running backs real quick?
Sure. Maybe. There you go.
So these guys are all good, but look at their ADP. I'm playing the game that one of these top three will fall to me at 60. I still think that running back is their biggest unfulfilled need on the board, but I'm willing to take this risk in this moment to go lock down the future of my defense.
Yeah. I feel it. What the fuck do I do with the Chiefs? Holy shit. Oh,
Last time we
man.
gave them Zay Flowers because he fell.
Yeah. I'm not going receiver. There's no receiver to me that makes any sense right now. Like Josh Downs is getting some love occasionally, but he's what, 5'9". I'm not really trying to throw another short guy
Tyreek.
in the mix here. He's not Tyreek fast.
No, he's not.
Speaking of Tyreek, could get a corner, I guess. I don't know that I
Wow,
need
this
one.
a lot. Yeah, a lot of this team's coming back. Safety, safety might be a need. Is there anybody at safety they could go after? You got
I actually
Deion
really
Bush is
like
going to be in your
Antonio
fucking
Johnson.
rotation. That's not good.
Who do they have in their rotation?
Deion Bush.
At least it's not Marcus Sorensen anymore.
Daniel Sorensen.
Yeah, close enough.
He didn't deserve to have his real first name.
He does. Yeah, I was about to say that's about what he deserves anyway.
Man.
Ooh.
They run a 4-3, don't they?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
With is it Chris Jones and
It is Chris Jones. I don't know the other one.
Frank? I want to say Frank.
George Karlaftis.
Nope.
George Karlaftis is a
Is
defensive
an
end.
edge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is Frank
Derek
Clark still there?
Nandi is who's listed at the top.
Okay. Yeah.
It was Frank Clark. Okay.
It
He
was
is
Frank
not
Clark
showing
for a
up
minute.
right now.
I think I don't remember what happened to Frank Clark. He's somewhere. But anyway.
Had off the field issues.
I'm certainly willing to go edge rusher here, and there are a couple of really solid ones. I'm just wondering if that's truly the biggest need. At some point, you just have to take who's available.
1 minute.
I will say, too, just to help you out here, they do need a right tackle, and they need one desperately.
I do think this is kind of a best available for him right here, though. If we're being completely honest, yeah, they need a right tackle, but do you want it? Do you want Darnell Wright to be your right tackle?
I don't. I kind of agree with you. I'm going best available. To me, best available right now is Felix Anudike-Uzomah out of Kansas State.
I also don't think that Darnell Wright is the best right tackle in the draft. There's another right tackle that was on the board, pure right tackle, that I would have gone with.
I absolutely agree. But we will find out where that player goes.
Next time on
whoever we're talking about. Next time on BDT Mock Draft 3.0 Part 2. So, yeah, actually, next week we're going to set this round up exactly the same as before, as we just did it, and build off of it. Go into rounds 2 and 3, coin flip at the start of round 2, coin flip at the start of round 3, determine which of us goes first or second. Bug can still interject with trades and stuff. We'll still be involved in the negotiations. And it sounds like we didn't even really come close to being overtime at any point, other than with the Chiefs there. I kind of waffled a bit.
We had 2 1-minute calls in the entire draft, which is a good sign.
Not too bad. But we won't get that luxury next week. We do have to be a little bit faster. Only get 3 minutes or so. Kind of, if there's a trade negotiation going on, kind of a pause it deal. But roughly 3 minutes a pick. So we will be back. This has been an insane mock draft for the record. I don't know that I don't buy any of this bullshit happening. But
I buy the
it's
first
very
2
fun.
picks.
Actually, all right. The best way to think about mock drafts, this is a great opportunity for us to discuss the prospects, how good we think they are, and to talk about the teams and what they need and what they might be willing to do. It's a combination of both to the best of our understanding of both situations. This is not going to be a 1-to-1 prediction of who gets taken number 2, number 3, number 4. That's impossible. Truly impossible.
Well, the experts always get it wrong.
We certainly made some wild, funky trades. You might see a couple next week as well, even though we're getting to rounds 2 and 3. That's a little bit less likely in real life. Fuck it. We might just go for it. Who knows? And there are a lot of good players still on the board, as you would know if you had stuck with us through our prospect preview series. You can find all of those episodes, same location you listen to this, unless you're watching us live, which, first of all, thank you so much for doing that. But we're also on YouTube, and you can find us wherever you've listened to your podcasts. All of those episodes are up as well. We went through every single conference and talked about all the dudes who might end up getting drafted. Talked about like 300-ish prospects. Of course, there will be like 70 people we didn't name who get drafted because fuck us. But
hopefully not 70, because that's like 2/3 of our draft, or 7/9 of our draft.
We will find out. Anyway, I think that kind of does it for me. I'll hand it over to Tug if you want to.
Before I do what you guys want me to do, does PFF have the compensatory picks in its database?
Yes, they do, which means we will be seeing every single team in the NFL have at minimum 1 draft pick. Actually, at minimum 2 draft picks, because the Browns even have a compensatory. So we will see the 49ers, their only picks in the first 3 rounds are 3 compensatory picks. They're all here. We will see every single team get at least 2 players out of this mock draft 3.0. Unless we trade out of it or some weird bullshit, we'll figure out some way.
I've never actually seen a compensatory traded. That's interesting.
We have seen compensatory picks get traded. Not like, I don't know, we haven't paid attention if that's happened during the draft, but they've definitely been included in trades before. I remember that rule change. That rule change is actually relatively recent. That compensatory picks can be traded. But anyway, we'll be back next week with more mock drafts.
You guys want me to do the thing, don't you?
Yep.
Please.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, our links are scrolling below, but I will read them for you in case you're listening and not watching us. You got patreon.com/BDTfootball, twitter.com/BDTfootball, facebook.com/BDTfootball, instagram.com/BDT_football, BDTfootball.com, mailbox@BDTfootball.com, youtube.com/@BigDudesInTheTrenches. And no, Doug, I love you, but I am not reading the Discord link. It will be linked in the description below.
Damn it.
Disappointed in you.
Okay, so hold on. Part of that is because of the way Discord links work. They're different links.
Mm-hmm.
They're all permanent links, though, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If you say so.
Sure.
I do. In fact, I do.
I'm sure you do.
You did. I don't know if you still say it.
I do.
Sounds like you're being pretty quiet right now, actually, not still saying it.
Hey, so yesterday, I accidentally gave my wife a glue stick instead of the chapstick. She hasn't talked to me since.
I'm sure you're very happy about that situation.
I would say I'm going to tell her you said that, but there's also the off chance that she's watching us right now and she already knows and doesn't care.
Which is probably likely that she wouldn't care.
she would also probably very much enjoy turning that around and gluing your lips together.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have on the show today. Thank you for watching and or listening. And just remember, you can't win a game if you can't win a trend.